Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Star Citizen Monday Q&A. I'm Jaris, and with me today is Captain Tyler on voice. Of course, not in the PTU, which is where I'm on the 3.15 build. And I've actually went and replaced my Freelancer DUR because I have the Max, the Miss, the DUR, and I decided to upgrade it a little bit. So I decided I did like this ship. I played with it a bit, and I'm really actually kind of enjoying it, to be honest with you. The 400i has some very nice features. I thought I'd show some of this stuff off first before we get into things too. Yeah, it's outside Area 20. I flew here Area 20. It's a nice
It needs to
people.
have Star Citizen Kitty symbols on it and Rogo Captain symbols all over it.
Hey, I can open the world's biggest beer bottle with this thing. Don't
Did,
even not
did those
believe.
things flop down yet on the front?
Flop down yet? What do you mean?
Well, it showed, I've seen several pictures where there's some sort of fins that's supposed to come down off that front nose gear.
Oh, I don't know.
You know, kind of like a dive fin for like
Mm.
a submarine.
But this is where you put your Nox if you want to have a ground vehicle and not take up any of your cargo space. And of course, you've got your. This is going to be called the Rogo Rocket. The Rogo Rocket. When I can name it. So tell Taylor, the host of the stream, to move the pack the P4K file.
Huh?
I have no idea.
Move.
Is something wrong with the stream? Anyway, now you've got me all confused, and it's only like a minute into the show. Good job, Rogo. All right. So anyway, but basically, yeah, I really like this ship. I think the egress is really good with it. This is a very effective, you know. Here, yeah, I decided to go with just like a slightly upgraded DUR, if you will. But I like the fact there's weapon bins here. You know, you get the weapon bins and the storage bins. We were actually doing some scavenging on missions yesterday. We did the Star Citizen Sunday, so we did that for like 6.5 hours yesterday. And even the components here are locked up behind a area basically where you can vent out the oxygen if it's on fire. Pretty cool design. I like that, especially when you're dealing with fire propagation in the future. But yeah, this is pretty nice. I mean, overall, you can't put a Urs in here, but you can put the anything smaller than that. Basically, what are the ones with the open top?
Cyclone.
The Cyclones. Thank you. Cyclones will fit in here, and or just do cargo, which is just fine as well. Place for your suits, and so this as well. And a lot of people are saying this has got the best elevator in the game. It's stairs too. I mean, sorry, that's ladder too. If you need it, look at this. Just boop, you're there, right? Habitation for you know, get your bathrooms, of course. Your habitation is actually pretty decent. The rock will probably fit. I mean, I think it's mostly a width issue. The rock will probably fit just fine. So now, this ship doesn't have a lot of firepower. It has about the same as a Cutlass Black. But the thing is that it's got more missiles than Cutlass Black. It also has where it lacks in its quote unquote firepower, which I still think we worry too much about pew pew. It makes up in massive speed and massive shields. This thing can take a beating like very little ships you've seen out there.
Yeah, why do the doors seem to be shaped like coffins?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good question.
that is a good. Maybe because you die so little in it because of the defenses, they want to remind you that you are mortal. Anyway,
That's a
so
high-speed coffin.
yeah, the turrets are remote, so they're run from the people sitting behind you, and it's not a bad ship. I was impressed enough with it. I think after we played with a while, that I started to really enjoy it, and I just said, let's just CCU that one ship because I had too many freelancers, and so this is now what the DUR became. So
Oh, the front cargo thing's still down.
yeah, I have the whole thing. I have the whole thing open. Let me just close it all up here. There. Still, not a bad looking ship. Not a bad looking ship. All right, so let me get out of the chair here real quick. So let's talk a little bit about 3.15 before we get into till we get I was about to say Evocati, into CitizenCon. All right, so for starters, one of the big changes, of course, is the physicalized inventory. It allows you to loot corpses, allows you to loot containers, allows other people to loot you. It also allows you to lose all your gear randomly at a crash which is one of the things I was hoping wouldn't happen before the stream started. I wouldn't get a crash. I wouldn't have my gear, but um, basically, don't mind the line. This line's a bug. It has something to do with, I think, the backpack on the set. I never had it till this set. Um, now, right now, I have only access to the vehicle storage, and I have access to my personal storage. I don't have much on me. But if I was at around Area 18 or at the space station, you would see that I would have access to my the home base uh, storage, basically, which is much larger, but mostly this point, more than halfway full of subscriber
I'm
perk stuff
still
that I have.
confused why the pole dancer pole is back.
Well,
I don't think
I think it's a glitch with this armor. I didn't see it with the other
Oh,
sets, but equipping things can take a little bit of time. But I do like the fact that let me turn around into the sun so this is a little bit easier on your to see what you're doing here. Hold on, that's better. Okay, so like the clips fit a lot better. You have to make sure that things fit. Things have to be when they have their slots. But if you have two clips that basically, yeah, throw me $1 bills. Basically, like if you have two big round like LMG
our
clips.
citizen referral code.
Yeah, they don't actually they won't actually fit in the same spot if they overlap. So you have to, a lot of times you have to have the placement that makes everything fit. Like there's 4 slots here. I think one of the slots may be hand, but so you can carry extra stuff in your backpack. Of course, different backpacks affected. Like medium can have medium and small. Heavy can have heavy, medium, and small, or light, I should say. Right now, I'm mostly just carrying a pistol because once again, one of the things about the situation right now, and when they started getting the server meshing later, and we'll talk about that as we move along, is that we still don't have the persistent data back in. So before, remember when you had 30K situations and you'd wake up back in your base and you would have to reclaim your ship. Right now, that to reclaim the ship, the thing is that now you have to like some extent, you can imagine that applying to everything that I'm currently wearing. So sometimes it doesn't, but a lot of times it does. So when you're going out and doing missions, you want to carry with you as little as possible. And also because of this 30K issue, I very highly doubt, even though I've got this vehicle storage over here, I highly doubt that anyone is currently going to use that. And another thing we discovered yesterday during the Star Citizen Sunday playtest was that when I stored something physically in here, they couldn't see it, and they could store something physically, and I couldn't see it. But the cargo was like their cargo and my cargo didn't take up the same space. It was weird. Obviously, that's something that's going to be worked on because when I put something in here in the ship cargo, anyone who's on my crew should have access to it instead of having their own separate ghost cargo. Um,
For mining, that would kind of stink.
yeah, well, customizing weapons, what you have to do, obviously you can drag and drop the item on it individually, but a lot of what you're going to do in that particular case is you're going to want to go ahead and you want to take a inner thought and throw it out the window. No,
Yeah.
but you want to do this, and you want to customize it to this. You'll click on this, and then it'll show you what attachments you have on you in your inventory, and then you'll attach it this way if you want to have a quicker, more you can take stuff on and off. Other than that, if you want to take stuff off after you put it on in your inventory directly, you really can't. There's no real way to pull. Like if I put a barrel on there, um, if I put a barrel on my gun in the inventory, like right here, if I was to take, just drag it over, I can't grab the scope. See, I can only. Oh, go on. Remember, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they fixed that since last time. Can I grab it? Okay, yeah, never mind. They fixed it. Never mind. I'm wrong. They fixed it since last time. So yeah, there we go. Look at that. Cool. That was something I could not do before. That must have been on the last build. Great. Okay, so that they fixed that. I hadn't tried it since the last build. Yeah, unless you're at a city location, yeah, you can't do the whole customization in your hand thing at a city location or some place that's
I
got
got the
armistice.
Grey Cat armor was blue.
Yeah. Yeah, they are instance rogue. It's weird. I think it's just you know how like right now a lot of times you sit in a if I sit in the pilot seat, if I was sitting here and someone was sitting here and they could play with the systems all they wanted to, but it wouldn't change anything. It's like their systems don't. It's the same kind. It's almost kind of the same kind of thing. So, but yeah, the inventory does not have a way to share the inheritance. Oh, it's an inheritance problem. Okay, yeah, interesting. Um, one time I want the guy to make a T pose. Yeah, they're exactly right. This is the one time. I'm too close to the chair. There we go. This is the one time you'd like to have a T-pose on a character. You're absolutely right. I agree with that wholeheartedly because having your hands block the equipment down here is kind of a pain in the butt. And another thing that they need to work on this is the filters. Now the filters are they're better. They've advanced over time. But one of the things is that you'll see here first of all. Okay, right now this seems okay, but if I'm zoomed in all the way, like as I'm trying to look at this, see because it's recognizing not only the filters I'm clicking on, but the object behind the filters here. So I'm getting the tooltips. I'm interacting with the arms right now, and I'm trying to see what I'm trying to click on here. So the only way you can make this work effectively is you've got to zoom out. So otherwise, that way you don't overlap because these things it doesn't recognize that this is over this. So basically, another thing too, if you have a lot of stuff in your inventory here, you have to scroll all the way to the top because if you scroll down, even though you don't see any items up here, you can't click the filters button because it's trying to click on items that you're not even physically seeing up here. So you have to scroll all the way to the top. And then, so these are things that they're going to have to work on. And also another thing too is if you have equipment over here on the right-hand side, when you do splits. If I want to split the stack, right? If I want to right-click on it and then like split. Now, if this is on the right side, I don't have enough of them to force it to do it. But if this was on the right-hand side and I did that, this is basically it's basically it's justified in such a way that you'll only see like EQ, CA, CAIND. That's all you'll see. It'll cut it off past like the third letter. And so instead of justifying it so it moves everything back to the other side, it literally cuts it off the screen. So it can be kind of complicated when you're trying to do a split stack on stuff that's on the edge. So they need to work on that too. It's kind of a problem. Now I do like the way that basically having the whole inventory system now allows you to loot enemies. So what we were doing, as I said, we were running in mostly with pistols and stuff. We killed everybody. We took all their crap. We just took it all, as much as we could. We threw it in the ship, and we flew back to the station. And we're like taking stuff and offloading stuff. And so if you want to have a way that prevents you from having to spend a massive amount of money, do like something like the 890 jump mission. Go in there, wipe out the whole ship, bring a backpack, grab all their crap, grab their armor. Put on their armor, and then you should have some equipment. I did. I assumed lots of stuff. Let's see here. Yeah, they probably did want the T-pose. The blue line is bothering me. Yeah, it's a bug with the set. I think it has something to do with the backpack. I'm not sure. Let me check. Hold on. I can take the backpack off and see if the line goes away. I don't have anything in the backpack anyway. Let's throw out the ship instance. It's the backpack. Oh, now it's gone. Now it's back. It's the backpack. It's weird. That's what I thought it was. Anyway, so let's see. Backpack stripper pole with LTI. Indeed. So let's go ahead and get this thing airborne. But as I said, we had about a six and a half hour stream somewhere in there yesterday where we played this. We did some combat missions. We talked about it. And you're welcome to give that a watch or skip through it as you want, just to go ahead and get a feel for how things are moving forward. Collision alert. I'm not going to collide with the sky. This is a very fast ship. And it doesn't we'll see how it climbs out of here in a second here. So if you're looking for something kind of in between, this ship is kind of in between a Freelancer and the Connie. Some people are trying to compare it to a Connie. I think this is the better 600i. I'll be honest with you. I had a 600i at one point, 600IE. This is also an exploration vessel, kind of a luxury exploration vessel. And I found the 600i had a lot of wasted space. If you took all the wasted space out of the 600i, you'd probably end up with this. So if you weren't happy with the 600i because you felt it was just too big and offered too little, this may be the ship for you. All right, so let's let that head out to space, or crash or whatever. All right, let me jump back over here to my OBS if I get this thing to fly summit level. Yeah, I have two size 3s in the front, gimbal size 3s, so you can do fixed size 4s. Panthers right currently. And the stations behind me in left and right run, these are also two size 3s. Those are size 3 guns in each one of those. Now this ship, um, if you think about it, on the left and the right, you have, for the most part, if they're left and right, you have 4 guns firing. If they're behind you, you got 4 guns firing. If they're in front of you, because the rear turret points forward, you've practically got 4 guns firing. And you know, if they pull up to here, the rear turret can still swing up and shoot, because we were actually doing that. But it's got a fair amount of coverage. But mostly because the ship is fast, it's supposed to be like it does kind of make sense to have. It's made to have heavy defenses and to run at speed away from a combat, and then the rear turrets will keep people off of you as you're trying to make your escape. So it does kind of make sense, because it's not supposed to be an aggressive fighter. It's supposed to be a highly defensive fast exploration ship. Yeah, it's absolutely made for it to run away there, Mad Mike. Absolutely. Uh, and so yeah, I have no real issues with it. Not every ship needs to be about face to face beating each other to death, which, you know, it's I'm glad that this ship feels a little bit different. And honestly, let's face it, the turrets on these are still way better than the turret on the Freelancers. The turrets on the Freelancers, believe me, I'm going to blade them and forget about them, because they're absolutely they're terrible. They're in a terrible location. And they have that lit fin at the front of them absolutely blocks everything. And wait a second, let me just see if I can boost up and out of here a little bit towards space. So I'm trying to get the space so I can kind of drift neutrally, so I can go ahead and just kick over to the footage.
Or even the bottom turret, is that also remote?
Yes, the bottom turret is the left chair behind me,
Okay.
and the right chair behind me is the back turret, the back top turret. And which is, I said, I like the fact that they're moving. I like the fact that CIG is moving to more remote turrets, and I hope that we see that. Uh, if not anything, done or redone for a lot of ships. It's a way more efficient way for people to interact with the turrets. It's a lot more. It puts a lot less vulnerabilities on the ship, and I don't know if you saw the time when we were having the javelin out, and you know, you're sitting in a turret, and I was running the main gun. You could turn the turret, and there was a turret on a turret, and you were running both at the same time. It was the most head-scratching moment I've had in turret design. Um, that's probably their worst turret by far, is the javelin turrets. These kind of turrets are these remote ones are. I still think one of the best turrets you'll ever find is on the Valkyrie. There's Gatling gun ones on the side, and those things have a massive amount of movement on it. You can practically shoot yourself. They can really swing around. There's these single Gatlings that are on these multi-axis points, and they can move. That's probably the best turrets. The Valkyrie sports some of the best turrets in the game from their design. Small medium ships should be remote, but the fun factor, large ships should be manned like Battlestar. I can understand that aspect. Um, Yeah, they can make man turrets better with power to deal with the vulnerability. Yeah, that's true. I mean, because it draws less system resources, I guess you could say it that way. Um, I mean, whatever perspective you want to put on that. I think I should be able to go straight now, enough that I won't have an issue. All right, I was trying to avoid getting pulled into a building as I'm trying to fly straight. So let me go ahead and kick over to some of my CitizenCon footage I have going on here. Obviously, I thought about cutting out 400i footage, but I figured I'd just walk around the 400i and then I can bypass the whole footage part. So let me talk about the other ship that came out. The Anvil Liberator, and this one,
Oh.
yeah, this one was actually kind of interesting. I don't think it's a terrible design. I think it's kind of cool. It reminds me a bit of what's the repair ship? Crucible to some degree, but like this mini carrier Crucible kind of thing going on. It's a top carrier. You can put vehicles in it. It's kind of like, I don't know. I like the fact it does stick with the Anvil motif of being a very boxy, LCAC in space. It's very boxy. It has that very industrial, like no nonsense kind of look to it. It's definitely a nice little mini carrier for those who just don't want to pay full cost for an Idris but want to be able to transport things. definitely inspired off of the hovercraft, design
Those
here.
front guns remind me of World War One, World War Two, early
Yeah, like
model
yeah,
tanks
exactly. The battle
with the
tanks.
side guns to be more anti personnel. I mean, they just look that way.
These are
When they
concepts, by
say
the way. It's not the
tonk,
final look right here. These are just concepts. They were building up to
just
it.
the side guns of a tonk.
I think some people are gonna have fun with this. I think it's good for this will be a good supplement for organizations who, or a smaller organization that doesn't have an Idris, or you just getting vehicles around if you've got people who just need to move things, you know. Um, yeah, I think they'll get to the final. They'll get to the final thing here. They're just showing the development process, but yeah, this one is that's closer to the final. But they basically, yeah, this thing is made to be run by two people, and it's got the auto point defense guns, I guess it was it has on it, and what it has on it, and refueling and so on and so forth. So it's a little bit it's not too bad. It's not too bad.
Are they showing different
It
body
is
styles?
expensive though. Hmm?
Like they keep showing different body
They
styles.
these are this was the development, like they were developing that. This is the different stages they went
Okay.
for as they were putting the concept together to get to the final point. Let me go to my sources here real quick so I can make sure this is I have the there we go. Okay, so they're showing off like some of the interior layout because they have to basically a lot of it has to go over and under because of the nature of it. Yeah, they even admitted it's Nelcac. Yeah, they by showing the pictures of it, right? I mean, this thing looks like I don't know if it's gonna have repair abilities like the Crucible does. I would imagine you'd be able to put some sort of ability to repair on there. So they're already working on the interior layouts. And if, by the way, if I make any mistake on this footage, I had to kind of cut all this footage in a rush. For some reason, the downloads were really slow, 2 hours per video I had to download, and then I still had to edit. So if someone like pops, if something messes up in there, I do apologize ahead of
It
time. It
seems
was
like a lot of room for a crew too.
well, yeah, but it's a lot of it. I guess a lot of the defenses and stuff are automated. So yeah, there it is. So that's kind of what it's going to look like as your final product. So yeah, if you're looking for something for an organization, kind of a nice small, uh, you know, ability to move things around, um, that might be the ship for you. You know, not too bad. All right, yeah, it'll be a beach landing. Yeah. All right, let's see here. Let me take a look at the.
Yeah, does it float?
But then we had a huge update on a ship I actually own, and now, so there's a lot of divisiveness about the updates to the Banu Merchantman, but all this is still white box. I'm gonna wait. I want to sit back and see how it comes. And I still recognize it as a Banu. I'm not too picky. I want the function to work. Um, so we've got the whole Banu Merchantman thing going on here. Second here, and as you can see, it's gotten larger, and it's still rough. So obviously, it's not full the details and stuff like that. Um, ship was originally a very inexpensive ship, but now it's just huge. It's massive. It's this thing. This thing might be in the works for my largest ship. From what I'm seeing here, this thing is massive. Absolutely just mind-blowingly huge. The turrets, I guess, fold away inside there, and everything comes out. Like a lot of stuff just kind of hidden away, and all kind of comes out like a transformer. Where's J.J. Abrams when you need him? Yeah, it has a hangar to yeah, it has a hangar for a single fighter, mostly for the I mean, obviously you get whatever it sits, it fits, right?
Yeah, for the defender.
Yeah, for the defender. So yeah, it's a hangar. It's the second thing I have in the hangar. And then I'm not exactly sure. I think this is a scoop or something. I think it's. I'm not exactly sure what that does. That they were just trying to keep with the imagery, so I think they'll come up with a reason for it. But 15 arrows, yeah, all the arrows forever. I don't know if they're gonna stick with that wings fold up thing.
That looks just
Looks
because
well.
of the
That's a very
branding.
rough white box kind of thing. But look at the size of that ship compared to the people. I mean, it reminds me of the Redeemer, if not already bigger than the Reclaimer, if not bigger than the Reclaimer. Yeah, you get a pod for a vehicle. Well, this is all white box. I guess they're that the wings fold up thing is a concept. They're just testing things. So this is all
If
still like
memory
early white
serves,
box
the
work.
folding up wings had to do with the landing pad
It might,
being
and
too
this is why I've
wide.
said for a long time they need to make their landing pads like 15, 20% wider than their metrics at default, just because of the fact things are too tight. And they need to give you ground summoning vehicle stations inside of every hangar so you can load ground vehicles in right there, which is something I did want to bring up, which I'm glad I remembered. Look at all the floors on this thing. I mean, this was like a $250 ship when it was first pledged, and this thing is a monster. I'm so glad I have this thing. It's like it's gonna be like this thing was cheaper than a Connie is right now. So it's you got your cargo bay down there and oh yeah, they need the scalp hangers big time. They're gonna have to rework that, which means it's got to rework. So much stuff. There's layers. That's why they have to think this stuff out a little bit more thoroughly before they do it, or just let the ship land in a large, unless they're trying to squeeze it into a medium or whatever. Um, Sometimes it seems they always try to squeeze stuff in way too tight. And they're just kind of showing mock-ups and things like that. There's going to be, of course, shops in here, and this goes back to the cargo thing. With the cargo, you're going to be able to like loot bodies and stuff like that. This is going to be great for those people who go out and do missions. They loot a bunch of stuff. They store it in their merchantman, and then they go into the I'm going to go into the Jarvis's slightly used weapons and armor depot. Basically, just come on out and get yourself a nice slightly used. Don't mind the blood, slightly used armor, and you just feel free. We'll give you rock bottom basement bargain deals. Uh,
Bubblegum filling in the bullet holes.
yeah, it has right around 3,000 SCU, something like that. Yeah, it's a monster for cargo and everything else. And the lower section is a actual full-fledged cargo crate area. And I'm gonna, oops, I'm gonna rotate my ship here so I can don't get AFK'd by the game. Yeah, this thing. I mean, let me check a second here. Where's my sources on that? This is pretty. Yeah, it's like. But yeah, this is all still kind of in concept, but they're moving forward with it finally, and I'm really happy to see this one. This is one of my fleet, and gosh, I just didn't expect this thing to be coming out like this. I mean, this ship was kind of vague. We've seen different shots of it in the past, but where the mock-ups didn't exactly. One mock-up didn't really line up exactly with another mock-up. There's like a lot of. I love the engineering room. Look at that. Oh, I feel like I should having a lightsaber duel there on those stairs. So yeah, it's got the cargo thing, cargo section, or you can actually move it around and then load the cargo to, I guess, to the marketplace or whatnot. Look at that. I mean, that's nuts. That's like a hangar. That's like a full-fledged freaking hangar. So there's the bridge. They've worked on different mock-ups of the bridge and trying different things, seeing how it's going to work.
This thing can be a capital ship.
Yeah, this thing actually it does go planet side. Yeah. Well, I mean it can land, but you know, this also the Banu merchantmen are recognized by the Vandul and they don't attack them. So this one I always thought the reason I had the ship was so that maybe I could go through Vandul's space without getting attacked. That was kind of a greedy reason for doing it. But I thought wouldn't it be kind of cool if that the Vandul never attack a Banu merchantman ship just because they don't want to risk like that kind of
The lore of the Banu Merchantman was designed that this thing would land at outposts on planets
hmm
and become its own marketplace. So it didn't need to go to spaceports and land. It could actually just land on planets.
Yeah. So yeah, this
Could
is what
be
I'm looking forward to. And when this comes out, guys, when this comes out, guys, I guarantee you, we are all gonna go and we're gonna go and fill my hold up full of full of all of our accidentally acquired loot, and we're gonna have fun. We're gonna make a marketplace out of it. Um, yeah, that's the price. They up the price again too. But you know what? Yeah, it does have a bazaar. How bizarre. Yeah, we'll see how it comes out. I mean, a lot of this stuff is still in works, but the ship did get bigger, and I kind of expected that. This is kind of one of those ships I think that they want just as, and okay, it's not just because the players want it, but they want to have, I think, NPCs going around selling things, and this is the ideal ship to maybe introduce the whole Banu culture to the players and have them doing shopping and things like that. So, uh, you know, oh yeah, it's got firepower. So, but I mean, it's not going to be very maneuverable. It's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it. And of course, this is the part that I paid attention to most, and at least the part that I think everyone what we did on the day of CitizenCon is we were in the Discord voice chat talking about it, and I think the part where everyone shut up for the most part and was just listening was when they started talking about the server meshing. Now, the server meshing is one of the things that is really holding the game back. We need to have the server meshing, the data caching, all of that together so that we can actually go to Pyro smoothly, so we can actually have better frame rates, so that we can get the persistence we need. So if we get a 30K, we load in and we're in our ship with our gear at the exact same spot that we crashed out of without losing a single thing. It's so important. So they did a little bit of a discussion on, yeah, this ship will require server meshing. You're absolutely right. I mean, what if you can't even hire NPCs and you have server meshing? They'll just disappear, right? You have to
Now I'm
rehire them again.
envious. I wish that I didn't have my caterpillar and I have this
No, I didn't see the
instead.
poll. What poll? Let me. Anyway, so flies viable space whale where Ahab has reasons to stay where when he's eaten. So this whole thing is basically what kind of ship do you want to see? Yeah, what shock and surprise, it was not a combat ship. I mean, how many times have I shown that poll and the thing that's what people want, industrial or career-based ships most of all that are non-combat. That of course means they'll be the last one to develop, you know. But yes, basically what they're showing here during this is how everything breaks down into smaller and smaller and smaller chunks, and that what they're trying to do is that as you are self-contained area, that it pulls the data out of this data graphs out of the background. And they say they use data graphs because they require they're a lot more efficient, and they can store a state, and they can store all the information and all the main parts, the subcomponents, all of it under there to be quickly accessed. And then in your local area, those things are brought up into the zone. And when they go away, those data graphs are also very easily stored and then put away to be pulled back later to be utilized later, very very quickly. Let's see here. You voted for the bomber. I originally thought about voting for the bomber too, but I was convinced not to. But I was like, for the same reasons, by the way. I thought like we need like another small bomber vehicle, but I thought, yeah, let's count. We got enough combat. So yeah, basically the idea. I think. Let me see. I got the. This is a longer stream. So let me see if I can find what I'm looking for. I kind of cut all the
This is
footage out.
funny because I thought you wanted the bomber, so I voted for the bomber because you said we didn't have any
Uh
small
huh.
bomber.
Yeah, what ship to put in a man merchant hander? Okay, so here's an example. Like right now, I think they're going to show this is that as the server starts off, you've got like the one person who's streaming in all the sources. The frame rate tick is going to be good. Your frame rate's going to be good. You're really probably sitting close to 60 FPS. Everything's great. But as more and more people join the server has to update and tick out to all those additional people because they're not separated out into these bubbles around, causing an issue. And you've all experienced it where you have less and less frame rate as time goes by, as more and more people go to. If when people are all in the same location, there's a lot less of this problem. But as people basically spread out to different locations, this problem gets worse and worse and worse until eventually, you end up with a situation that we've all experienced with that sexy 30K that kind of drops us all into the abyss. A second here. So you can see that in the lower right, this is what the client sees as opposed to what the entire server is dealing with. And so right now with just the one individual, everything's kind of working fine. And they're going to introduce a second person here. And they're going to show, I think this is where they get into the frame rate issue. Oh yeah, here you go. I guess they're using a 30 FPS example. Okay, so yeah, so to add more people, see the frame rate starts to drop because now the clients, as you can see in those little windows on the left, what they're dealing with, but what the server has to spool up is all on one area. Now, my thoughts on this, by the way, is that the reason we don't have a lot of the footage that you saw, a lot of the gameplay that you saw, even the new systems that you saw, of course, obviously we were waiting on this, but I think that when this drops, when server meshing comes online, we're going to see a change to the game equivalent to when we went from 2.0 to 3.0. We went from just a couple zones in space to having physicalized planets. It's going to be huge. I really think you're going to have a frame rate increase, a really solid one. No more picking countries. like what country you want to play from, and it's going to find the best. No more trying to squeeze in with friends because it's by using the meshing, you're on a team, it'll spool you in correctly with your team, and if you leave a gun or drop something and you come back to it a month later, it's going to be there most of the time. They said there's a certain point where uh, they do a cleanup, but the point is that generally speaking, your stuff should be there. And so you don't have to worry about those weird instances where, like, I'm sure you've done it before. You accidentally dropped something you didn't want to drop, and you just watched it go poof right in front of you. And that's happened to me quite a few times. Whether it's most times it happens to me when I go to jail. I get a situation where, for some reason, my character chucks the mining laser on the floor, and now I don't have a mining laser, and then I have to go buy a mining laser, which makes me stay in jail longer. Good times. All right, let me check some of the chat here. Yeah, yeah, you're right, Grass. It was the reason that why server object container streaming did not solve the slow server frame rate issue. Right, because all the tasks the more and more tasks the server has. It's every server, like right now, every 50 cap server is a unique individual world, not tied to another. And everything, as I'm outside in space here around ArcCorp, if someone's around Daymar, the computer's handling both of those things. If someone's, you know, the more people that come onto it, the worse it gets. And this replication layers, if someone basically meshes into it, it's going to pick it's gonna pick the primary one to transmit the data over to and kind of mesh the information together as these come together. So if you haven't seen this demonstration, this is a good one to watch. The server meshing. Definitely probably one of the most important ones you can watch. The other one, of course, I think is you want to listen to Stream of Consciousness, Tony Zurovic, obviously. But honestly, my assessment of the CitizenCon this year, now there were a lot of people disappointed in it, and I can understand that. But the way I look at it, there was some new information here, there was some good information here, but there was a lot of, I would guess you could say, repeat information in this as well. And I largely believe that's because last year we had a gigantic boom in the amount of people who joined Star Citizen. A lot of people were quarantined at home and so on and so forth, so they pledged for the first time. And this was their first CitizenCon. And a lot of these concepts haven't been fully explained to them. So in some regards, this was, for some people, my first CitizenCon. And I think that's why you saw a lot of the repeat. And I don't knock them for doing that. I think that's probably a smart move. There was enough there for me. The primary thing I was interested in, besides flight, which I knew wasn't probably going to happen because they said next flight update is next year. Probably the biggest update yet. But with server meshing, and I got that. Yeah, we okay, I forgot to cut that guy out. See, I tried. I was trying to bum rush this one. I missed. That was my mistake right there. So yeah. Anyway, so I failed. I failed as an editor. Anyway, so but yeah, so I think this was fine. I don't mean that in the way like you sit in the cafe like that dog with the coffee and the whole building's on fire kind of fine. But they had what I was looking for, and what I was disappointed with this presentation was time frames. I'm not looking for dates. I'm not looking for dates. Like, don't tell me it's going to be out by December 38th or whatever. Not December 38th. What the hell is that? But the point is that it's like, but what I'm saying is that I want to know.
I'm confused when it came to okay, this presentation should last this many minutes, and these are pre-recorded, and you're gonna look at the schedule, and it's like this one barely lasted not even a third of what they said it should have lasted. What happened?
Yeah.
They
Some of them were shorter than I would have expected. Some of them were longer. The one with the ship. Okay, the one where they talked about ships, it was interesting, but I think it was a lot of fluff in that one. Like I just cut out the footage because I figured that was kind of more to the point. A lot of it is just like, I don't know, speculation, wishful dream thinking. I don't know. It wasn't terrible. It just wasn't. You could have just given me the images, and I probably would have been happy with that alone. Could have cut it down to like the time frame that I did with the footage I cut, and that would have been good enough for me. This is the part right here. This persistence part, this is what we need. Because right now, as you see in the lower left-hand corner of my game, if my game crashes right now, I will lose my ship, I will lose my armor, I will lose my gun, I will lose my clips, I will lose everything, and I will have to go. Oh, that's bright. That's brighter than I expected. Sega. But they're showing basically how everything, how there's client, there's everything has a subcomponents, and so when you're looking at a ship, you're looking at all the little parts that go to it and all the parts that attach to that part. And so you can see how complex, like there's a Merlin attached to, you know, oh, there's obviously equipping stuff there too. But yeah, so the idea is this is what we need, particularly with the system. I think that we have the system first because they need to refine our current inventory system so that it works, it's smooth, it operates well when they turn this next phase on. But my personal prediction is 3.15 may become a very low played a build because people are going to become frustrated with buying their gear constantly. And if it is played a lot, I think you're going to see people doing what we were doing, which was doing ground missions to scavenge everything off everybody. And even then, they might even bypass that and just run around with a pistol and the undersuit because people are going to get annoyed after a while having to replace all their stuff constantly. Um, that's just my guess. Maybe I'm wrong, probably wrong, but I have a very low tolerance for, you know, um, I don't think it's worst in a sense of it's only when I say in that aspect, what they've added is great. It's needed. It's a welcome thing. But without the data persistence, imagine playing an RPG like let's say Final Fantasy, and every time you turn on Final Fantasy, you start over. No save points, no checkpoints. You just start over. Level 1, no gear. That would be a game that, even as good as Final Fantasy VII was, the original, I haven't played the redo, I wouldn't even have played that game. It would be a nightmare. And then you add in the fact that your power in your house can randomly turn on and off, aka 30Ks, and you're not playing that game, even though it's a great game. So this is something they're going to have to bypass, and we're going to have to get server meshing as soon as possible. Data persistence in particular, because without that, this is going to be a build that's going to be a make and a break for a lot of people. Like they're going to go, okay, look, I like what you did here. See you in 3.16. Hopefully you can have that up and running by then. And if not, they'll play it for a little while. They'll see the new ships. They'll see some of the new tech. They'll go, okay, but my crap still keeps disappearing. I'll see you in 3.17. It bold of me to assume we can do Final Fantasy 7 in one go. Well, that's true. It's like I shouldn't speak for you on that. So it's like your first divorce, lose everything. How many of you had Rogo? Oh, Rogo, you're a smart man. You should have left it at 1. I'm like, okay, I'm done. Oh, say so there I hear is what they're spooling up the universe. They actually use the root, and then the root generates everything else, and it creates all the children nodes, and it spawn. And they say that process takes like three or so minutes, and same kind of thing like a shard spools up, and then the shards basically these live side by side, okay, and now. Any of you play Guild Wars are familiar with like you could be in a city and have like 35, 40 instances of the same city, okay? And while one person sees one thing, and another person sees something else. Now, as these get populated and unpopulated, one could get spooled down. People will get consolidated into another one as they're moving about. But this is why I say that blockades are actually going to become. Your marriage numbers are classified. These blockades are going to be nearly impossible in Star Citizen because people want to blockade a point. All it's going to take is a certain amount of players waiting on a blockade, and there's like a little data storage at top. To actually spool up another instance, that means that you can't. They can just get around you through that methodology. So I don't know how effective those kind of tactics are going to be in an MMO. Basically any blockades you're going to want to put up are going to be places that are relatively low pop to make sure that your blockade holds. They're not going to hold like at a JITA kind of scenario. You would just have JITA 1 to JITA 55, and then your blockade at JITA 6 isn't going to do much of anything. Well, they're dynamic though. They're not like we're in. Okay, for example, I'm just playing the game. I'm in. Let's just say there's enough people in it. I'm at ArcCorp, and there's like 6 ArcCorps there because there's a bunch of people there. You join the server, and it goes, okay, we're on a team. You and he's on a team, so you're both going to go to ArcCorp 6. It puts us together. Someone else comes in and it's already at the limit. They're going to go, okay, well, and they don't have a team. They put them in ArcCorp 7. But as people populations go down, then it should try to shift people over and like consolidate, start bringing things together, shutting things down as they empty out, letting new people log in or come into that zone, move into less populated, but still basically it's emptied out. And then once one's emptied out, they spool that one down, and they keep consolidating, and they keep expanding as they need to over and over again, to kind of until it's the way it needs to be. So yeah, it's very dynamic, and
Yeah, they are going to be using shards just like in WoW.
and of course they gave us the this video production of Pyro and play a couple different scenarios of how everything is going to work. But a lot of the stuff you see here, especially with NPC interactions, it's going to require once again the server meshing in order to make everything work correctly. But without the server meshing, uh, you're basically always going to be having NPCs that don't react right, or nearly at all, and lag, disconnects, all sorts of stuff. Man, we really need to get that server meshing as soon as possible. I can't even find this planet. I'm just gonna spin here until I find a planet. There it is. Let me check the chat here. The PTU footwear being the only person dressed, yeah. Like the old first-person universe. We were always at war with Oceania. Yeah, we always were. Then don't you know that? I'm spinning the other side of the planet. So yeah, this was a part. You can see the volumetric clouds here. It looks like they're already building Pyro with the volumetric clouds in consideration. Of course, they're gonna have to go back and they're gonna have to retool our current planets to have the volumetrics. But those look really solid. Those look really good. And of course, this is a very easy way for them to advertise the 600i. I see here. Alright, I suppose you can also go with the Gundam Universe approach in some way, basically limiting slots based on particle emission from ships. I'm assuming this mission was all faked, since no heads up. I think this manufacturing part was a ship flying. You're probably right. I mean, this whole CitizenCon was pre-rendered, right? Which has its advantages and disadvantages. In the past, the CitizenCons we've seen errors, we've seen crashes, we've seen the random things that weren't supposed to happen. Sometimes that's funny and it works out in their advantage.
Blue screens.
Yeah.
We missed all our blue screens this time.
Yeah, I don't think if orgs try to dump 3,000 players at a gate, they'll just spool up like 20 instances. I mean, I guess they could spread themselves out, but they'd have to do it in such a way to try to ensure that they didn't just that their organization was the only organization in that instance, which is a real possibility if you're stacking that many people. Yeah, it's going to be harsh on hardware first, particularly since I've been waiting like nearly a year now, for maybe longer, for a video card on back order, and I still haven't even been told my video card's ready to let me buy one.
Please proceed to sign landing back.
Well, yeah. Also, the AI wasn't. If you looked at the ones where he's doing the stealth missions up on the roof, and he shoots like one guy to his in the head, and the guy like 3 feet to his right didn't even pay attention because they weren't really doing anything. They were just they were scripted to move a certain way and stand a certain way. I mean, you can tell that it was a scripted scenario. It was cool to look at. Definitely have no problems with that. I mean, it's like saying this is what we want to achieve, and but we're not going to see any of that until we basically get this whole persistence and server meshing and all that taken care of. The game is basically the whole game is hinging on this. Without this, the whole server meshing thing, none of this is going to happen without there being a single player mode, basically.
This ship kind of reminds me of a smaller version of Lando's personal yacht,
Lady Luck,
Lady Luck,
to some degree, yeah.
with that long front end and the bridge being farther in the back.
I really can't complain about too much. I think it came out. I do enjoy the way it feels flying. It's not bad. It's a nice replacement for my DUR, and now I don't have so many freelancers, so I'm good with it. Let me just set it down here so I can focus back on the video at hand. I just didn't want to. If I got disconnected, I want to be in a somewhat safer zone. There we go.
The artifact. Oh gosh, no. And we haven't even talked about that yet.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, yeah, the artifact.
The
I cannot
donut
believe they.
from-
I cannot believe they spent like what 5 minutes talking about how they made a half circle. I was like, they're getting to the.
How many times with the inner thought could you eat it?
Yeah, I said eat. Like, maybe it started
what?
off as a donut and they just turned it
I
to an
was
artifact.
thinking it was part of a donut.
And it's like oh yeah, it's like
uh-huh.
okay, well we started with a donut. We went with a Big Benny's donut, and then we put like copper coiling around it, and then we put like writing on it, and then there we go. But I was really surprised they literally spent that much time like going over how they created this artifact, and it's just like, yeah, we were made the wheels, fella. We were made half the wheel, fellas. The other half is coming in a patch. In the meantime, rolling's gonna be a bit difficult. Just submit your bug reports to the issue council, and we will go ahead and research how to make this wheel better. Now I know that we could look at games like Forza or anything like that to do wheel research, but we've decided that that's too contemporary, and we've got actually hired 5 new employees to dig into a way to solve this issue without actually making the wheel like other people make wheels.
And the spinning eyeball on the ship just screams Halloween to me.
So we have our special. We have a new department, Turbulent, that designs wheels.
Yeah.
And we actually pulled some of the guys off the website development because they weren't doing anything anyway, and we've moved them to wheels.
It's funny with the video showing. It looks like it's already got wear and tear on the ship. One trip and it
Yeah,
looks
it
like
does.
it's already all filthy.
Yeah, I was glad to see some wear. I haven't yet to get the wear and tear to be an issue in the game because I always get 30K'd or whatnot before that's even an issue. It's just one of those situations that 30Ks happen so often that I've never experienced the wear and tear to the levels that they've talked about. I want to see it too. I do. And when I land, I want the option to repair and to clean. So I want I want to repair my parts, but I want the ship to stay grungy. That's what I want. Let's see if I can store the ship if it doesn't mess it up.
Yeah, the name Wheels probably got a copyright, so they have to call it something else. I agree with that.
All right, good. I fixed it. It didn't.
Circular modular transport device. Ooh, there you go.
Circular modular transport device. Oh wow.
CMTD. Yeah, CMTD.
CMTD. Actually, that's close to CTD. I don't know. That
sounds like an STD.
Yeah.
And I want nothing to do with it.
No, not interested in that. All right. Set response by a guy named Pelvic Chaos. All right.
Look how nice and dirty the station is. I like that.
STD, the wheel you don't want to catch. But these habitats have come along really well. These look.
Oh, that's even creepier than it. Because inner thought told you to eat it.
Ugh. Okay.
Oh,
No. Pass.
Gross.
But yeah, these habitats have this just screams Tatooine, doesn't it? I mean, except obviously you have grass outside, but I wonder because there was a couple times when he was looking through the window with his gun. I kept waiting for him to shoot the window out.
Yeah.
I was hoping that
And
would be
then
the
you go,
case.
wait a minute. Isn't the window supposed to be the transparent steel and supposed to be stronger than the metal on the ship? Yet you
Mm-hmm.
can shoot through it with a gun? Well, wait a minute.
Yeah, I mean this is clearly scripted because the guards would have already killed you.
Mm-hmm. You fit in here just nicely. Could you check your gun
The
in at the
kitchen's made
lock
for
of the
Jabba to
door?
cook his crew. That's very
Oh
possible.
gosh, yeah. Oh, hola wonky.
But yeah, this is Pyro, so this is gorgeous. I mean, I like this kind of autumny environment and whatnot. So
See, this is
anyway,
this is
so
where you
I've
don't need to
yammered
leave
on long
the
enough.
planet.
What did you guys think about this particular CitizenCon? I want to get your thoughts on this because, for me, I mean, I think it was only because I had seen a lot of the stuff. For me personally, it was like a 4 out of 10. Like it wasn't their best one, it wasn't their worst one, but it wasn't anything that I enjoyed hanging out with you guys in the Discord more than I enjoyed than the actual CitizenCon.
It was refreshing to have that many people
Yeah,
talk.
it was fun. That was
I
nice.
didn't even pay attention that it was wee hours of the morning.
There was that
And
one
it's like,
section where none of us were paying attention. I think it was the sounds in space.
yeah,
I think all of us were just talking during that point in time. I don't get me wrong. I like the sound artistry. I like
not a sneeze was made during server
meshing.
meshing.
Yeah, it was like I thought like maybe I lost Discord at that point in time. Waffle plus 400i for the most part. Let's see here.
Waffle.
I said stream today and the video from STL Youngblood. Let's see here. Ship talk was a Q drop by a slave with 2 buzzword droppers that made me outright angry. Yeah, I'm not. Everyone knows that watches my channel. I'm not who I'm not a huge fan of.
Nah.
In particular, in that group of 3.
This scene always ticks me off because when they go and kill this poor guy to steal half of the wheel, it's like,
But
why?
they're just showing that they're going to have options, basically, where you can come in.
Oh, this is also a bad thing. Is look, all the words move with him.
This
You're
is
trying to click on it.
you try looting in this game with inner thought. It is a nightmare trash pile. You've got to like most of the times when I'm looting bodies on this because of the loot system, which once again I'm happy it's in the game, but with the loot system you've actually got to drag the body like flip it over and drag it away so you can get the item he was near. Because if you try to click on the item that if he's partially leaning on it or on top of it, you will get the inner thought will swap back and forth between, do you want to take his leg armor? Do you want to loot the main body? Do you want to take the item that's under him? And you can't get there because everything is wiggling and jiggling and it's changing which priority as you're trying. Inner thought for a while, it needs to go. I would rather have it so I can just like hard click on the item like leg. What do you want to do with this leg? Do you want to remove it? Do you want to take it? Something a little bit less involved with things wiggling and jiggling, changing the context as I'm trying to like it's like trying to paint when you're on the back of a horse galloping down a hill and the easel's on the horse. It's just you're good luck with that. And, you're not going to get a whole lot done. It's the painting is not going to look very good. Let's see here. Yeah, we do not overly appreciate focus mode. Yeah, we put the F in focus mode. With a later patch we'll put the UCK in, but that's 3.17. All right, so yeah, these the easel's on top of another horse galloping next to you.
Yeah,
that's good. That's a good one. So yeah, the inner thought system.
inner thought.
Loot gun. You're right. They could sell an LTI loot gun. So if you want to like loot, you can loot from a distance on the loot gun.
Pull a trigger.
And then it's stored in
like a tractor beam.
Then the loot is stored in the loot gun because we're having that salvage gun somehow I can't figure out how you can store enough stuff in your ship for in the salvage gun for repairs. I've yet to figure out how that works. Loot grappling hook. Maybe they should just put a bunch of pots around that we can smash with our knives, and then when you get the right item, it goes da 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 da.
This is nice.
Gun that shoots peace. That's how you. That's how you have the. That's how
Look
you.
how the other people in the room don't do squat. They're just like, what? Did we hear a gun go off?
Well, I think it's a silencer on that gun, but nonetheless, some of them are just oblivious. I mean, absolutely oblivious. They're literally standing right next to
The
another one.
digitizer from Captain Power.
There you go. But yeah, we've seen these kind of demonstrations. Now, I think all of us were as well. I think all of us were. What I was disappointed with the most. We are like, remember 2 years ago they said they were giving us a Squadron 42 trailer. I was thinking by this point in time we would have gotten another vertical slice. We would have gotten some sort of showing of development of Squadron 42. Because it's been like 2 years, and other than the monthly updates, which honestly don't mean much when you don't get to see what they're talking about, I was thinking, wow, maybe they'll throw that out there. I mean, they gave us a list of what they were going to show, but I thought there might be a few surprises. I thought they might go out of their way and say, okay, surprise time. Here's the here's some bonus video that we're going to give you a vertical slice of that, or maybe even the updated version of that vertical slice and a bit more or whatever, or at a different spot or whatever. Here's the first mission of Squadron 42 or something.
Here's that weird pistol I think that Roga was talking about. What they're using a revolver cylinder, and then it ejects casings, shells, which doesn't make any sense for a revolver. It's a weird gun.
All right, I think the ammo counter of that gun's big enough. No.
Yeah,
And there's the thing too. They said Squadron, like the flight model. There's so much hanging on not only on the server meshing, but the flight model, because when they get the flight model by 2022. The flight model is pretty much going to have to be done aside from tweaks, which means they have to go back and make the AI learn the flight model, which means they have to tweak levels depending upon how the flight model actually works, which means they got to go back. This is why a lot of that stuff should have been done, like a lockdown much sooner. And there's going to be a lot of reworks that had to be done just for that alone. Let's see here. Yeah, and this is definitely a scripted thing because the first thing it hits the ship, it just dies. So I'm not exactly sure. Yeah. Well, there was again that maybe he just had a server error, disconnect, and desync, and that's what killed him. But this was a pretty interesting demonstration. If you want to give this a watch too with audio, so you can understand what's going on a bit better than just an audio-less version that I just edited together. Yeah, so I wish there was a Katamari when people talked about flight model needing to be done first. Yeah, if only there was. If only there was. It doesn't exist. It never existed. Don't you even talk about it? Like there was this guy one time standing next to Stalin. I heard rumors, but if you look at the picture, he's clearly not there. If you look at Stalin's left, or the picture's right. There's just water. So clearly that guy was never there. But yeah, so these are the least attentive people in the history of base defense.
Yeah, their backer is always a.
I mean, I want to see Arma-like scenarios in the game. I do. I want to see basically strategic, like people base assaulting and stuff like that. I want to see that. I'm absolutely overjoyed to see that kind of thing come. And this game has the potential, if done the right way, to give a very, when I say Arma-ish experience, I'm not saying please don't replicate the animations, because the animations in Arma are pretty bad, but you can give an Arma-like experience at a scale that Arma wishes they could do. You can catch the whole tactical market that would be happy to play Star Citizen if they knew there was an actual tactical value to the combat, like a really serious tactical value. And those are people who sit there and they stick with those games for decades. They just get obsessed about them, Let's see here. Remember the big cross-country mission, the crash capital ship, the vast dust storm rolling in, and the giant sandworm showing up? That never happened. That was the trailer to Dune. It was early. Pacing stalls, infrastructure issues, exactly. Mechanics mismatched the looks, absolutely. Yeah, you talk about the immersion. Nothing less immersive than something that doesn't match the way. See, right here, I thought he was gonna shoot the window. Now, why didn't that guy? He's looking right at him to the window. I mean, it says clearly script. These guys are oblivious. He probably could have come up and like unzipped his fly, and he would have noticed. But yeah, it is what it is.
There's the revolver gun ejecting its shells. It's like, what is this thing?
But yeah, overall, I think the 600. I think the 400i is a good chip if you're looking at a nice. I think the other one, the carrier one, might be a bit expensive. But if that suits your needs, then I'm not gonna shame you for getting it.
$500
500,
American.
and also like 5.5, closer to 6, I think.
Yeah, it was wow.
Yeah, pretty expensive. The overall, the Citizencon was, I said, about a 4 out of 10. There was some good new information on there. I wanted to know more of the state. It was good to see the details. I would have been happier knowing here. These are the things that need to come online. This is where we are progress-wise. Like how we feel about we're about 60% done here, or about 40% done, something like that. Like give me some ideas of how far along you are. I get the intent. They gave us more of a demonstration, of course, on quantum system. Tony Zervik did as well, but honestly, it was pretty much similar to what we had last year. It was just a new topic or a new subcomponent of that, but it was mostly like it was a similar thing. So I don't think if you saw last year's thing, it's largely the same. 575, yeah. Yeah, and if you have like those coupons, like I have like a 20% off coupon, so I really wanted to, I could get that thing down to 4. But I don't want it. I don't have any need for it. I never wanted a ship that could hold more than the dedicated one fighter. So I guess I have the players and the merchantmen, so I'm good there. I guess technically speaking, I shove a crap ton of stuff in any of my 3 Hercules models, but we'll see where that comes.
If they'll let you disassemble stuff, how far they'll let you disassemble.
I think if they keep moving down, I think as they keep having to add these complexities, like okay, the pacing here, I'm fine with the pacing here. It's not Quake. I'm not seeing rocket jumps. You know what I'm saying? So as long as they keep focusing on more tactical gameplay and keep refining it, I think as these complex systems are forcing them to slow things down a little bit and more. So I think when we see, my guess is that the next iteration of Flight, you're going to see things change, slow down again drastically. And hopefully they see the projectile rates and stuff go down too, along with the volume of projectiles. But we'll see. But yeah, guys, I think there wasn't a terrible presentation, and I can understand some people's frustration, but there were some good things. Yeah, I guess I hear he eventually that she steals their clothes so she can blend in and look like them or whatnot. Yeah, damaged model armor. Yeah. Yeah, the side strafe's a bit much. You're right. Side strafe is it's not organic. The way that they want to have their animations. In a sea of turds, diarrhea becomes ambrosia, but only those who can identify context. It's a visual.
I wouldn't mind this pistol in Fallout.
What do you think, Rogo? You happy that I'm going to call my 400i the Rogo Rocket?
I think it should be the Pink Star Kitten.
No. I don't know. I like Rogo Rocket.
How about Rogo Kitty?
I'll think about it. Maybe like if they came up with a pink skin on Call Praise Be the Kitten, maybe. But anyway, so yeah, the pistol would fit well in the Fallout 76 because of its size. Is that what you're saying? Because Fallout 76's pistols, outside the revolvers and stuff, tend to be pretty large. Some of them are just like, what the hell? Why do you need like 65 pounds of steel on a pistol?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Oh, yeah, I remember this. This
the
is
ladder
something
sliding.
Yeah, okay, I don't like this. I don't like the fact that they've turned the grapple gun into a bypass of being able to pick stuff up correctly. I don't mind the tractor beam gun working in space, but you know how much a 20-pound box would weigh on a radial arm? When
your arm just snaps
when it's out like 15, 20 feet away from you when you first grab it with it. You know how you wouldn't even be able to lift that thing.
It must be. I'm gonna guess their logic is putting an anti-grav field around the object, because there's no way you could put that much weight straining on the person holding the tractor beam.
Yeah, it would need to be how much and how far would be dependent upon the gravity of the situation. 1G planet, 2G planet, which would suck at the beginning with you might as well forget about picking up even about anything.
I got
Half G planet, no G planet, or no G asteroid. So I think that needs to be a consideration because this really is it's bugging me a little bit to see this. I don't want them to use this as a crutch, because the
I got the
technology doesn't make sense. It doesn't align to
Inspector
their lore.
Gadget theme in my head.
Yeah, it doesn't align to their lore, honestly. We don't have inertial dampeners, but we can just negate gravity over here at a will.
I do agree. I think somebody said when this came up,
can.
why don't they throw the soda can at the guy's head and hit him and knock him out? Because obviously it wasn't open.
Just
Look,
have
the
them
can-
drink it. All the artificial colors and flavors will probably just drop dead inside of 5 minutes. The Go-Go Rogo Rocket. Oh, Go-Go Rogo Rocket. I like that.
Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
Now see here, look at this part of the video. Why didn't that break his hands and fingers?
Yeah.
There's no way he could have slid down the ladder that didn't have side rails.
It's a valid point.
When I saw-
Magic.
Like, no, this. And a bunch of people in chat were going, look at that. That's just wrong. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, hey, wrong.
I mean, I said once again, I think their art guys do a great job. The environments here look amazing. The building looks amazing. The lighting looks amazing.
Can I have this as my camp?
Can I have this
No,
as my
you can't.
house? This is amazing. I will gladly have this. So I can.
Now, here's a funny thing. Who keeps all their loot and their weapons up here on top of pipes?
Well, it looks like there's some. Yeah, yeah, it is. Like, what's that? And how did you open that box? Because it's like kind of blocked by the ceiling above it.
Yeah, this box here, I think it's going to have weapons in it.
It's like, oh.
And look, see, guns? It's like, why would you stick your guns up here?
I think it's just for the demonstration. Obviously, it's a weird place to put things. I mean, we're more likely to find drugs there than
He
actual
lubed his
weapons.
palms. Oh, gosh.
He lubed his palm. Well, that's just.
That doesn't help his
Is it Friday
fingers.
already?
Ugh.
All right, see here. Ladders, complicated stuff. They have been. They've been some of the biggest killers in Star Citizen. Have been ladders.
Usually they got magnets on them.
Doink. Nothing to
I
hear here,
understand.
folks.
Now, no one doesn't on every. I was going to
Doink.
say he shoots everybody almost all the time, and he's just letting these people just walk around. He had better shots than these people earlier.
Yeah. I mean, all the goofiness aside, and this. I mean, you have to admit that the art. This looks. Graphically, this place looks. It looks very, 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 very tight. They've done a good job making this place feel gritty. And there you go, sliding down again. Oh
Sliding
gosh!
down the
You
ladder
know, you
again.
remember? Was it down Periscope where the guy he puts the lard
Yeah,
on the ladder
bump, 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 bump,
and he
bump,
hits
bump.
his
Yeah,
chin on every rung on the way down? That's what I'm seeing here.
Knocks him out cold, yeah.
Because that's the only way that's what I see happening. All right.
Oh, look.
Yeah, who would hide their
Garage
guns where they would normally hide their porn stash? Exactly.
I like how you shoot the guy right there. He doesn't even turn around. It's like, what?
Stairway to Heaven. Yeah, that is kind of a thing with the game. Ooh, just kind of. Because a lot of the stairways kill you. Killing civilians with no crime stat. Yeah, come on, you can kill exactly. And that's something I hope they do as well. I don't like the idea with crime stats that you kill someone random out in the middle of space and then suddenly everyone knows. I don't know how the game makes that connection. I would rather have to do research. Like, someone was killed out here. We need to check the logs, find out if someone was within this area, find out, maybe then we need to talk to them. We need to figure out was there, maybe the guy was in that area and it was detected, but maybe there was someone else. Just because you were in an area someone died doesn't make you the murderer, right? The game kind of comes to the assumption that you're a criminal just because you were in the area. There's no proof. Did you see me shoot anybody? No. Okay. Where's the body? I threw it in the sun. I mean, someone threw it in the sun. No body, no crime, right?
Here we go. We get to use a plasma cutter and cut
How many
it in
times
the
have we
lab.
seen plasma cutters now? And we get to actually, and we can buy them in game. Has
We can
anyone
buy
cut?
'em, we can't do anything with them.
Yeah, I don't think you can cut anything in the game with them. They used to have the satellite mission, but I think that one went away. A reactor from a Caterpillar, yeah.
Where?
Oh, it was part of the thing there in the engine, I guess.
Oh, okay.
I do like the crawling beneath the floorboard. Like, that's a good place to put smuggling stuff. It's like,
Now this is a smuggling trove.
yeah, you would, or at least the basement of my house. But the point is that it's something that it's believable. I know. But first they have to do some investigations. They just, they just can't go, oh, you were in the same area this guy died, so clearly you're the murderer, because we didn't detect anybody else. I mean, what if someone got around your system? I would like there be a little bit more opportunity not to get caught because you're in a transmission area. Like if there's only one guy there, he doesn't see you, he never transmitted, and you sniped him, how are you going to get a crime stat? Who's reporting you? Now, if you have a bunch of NPCs, 5 or 6 NPCs, and you go blasting it, and one of them gets to a communication thing and calls for help, okay, now there's a report out. But it shouldn't be like I kill a dude out in the middle of nowhere, and then suddenly I'm on death row. It's a bit too that's a bit too clunky of a system for me. Yeah, Red Dead witness mechanic, exactly. And then you end up killing the witness who has a witness standing 50 feet from him, and then by the time you get done, you've killed half the country. Yeah, more tractor being done. So, yeah, this is... Let me check my sources real quick here. So yeah, this is wrapping up. This is almost at the end of it. This is like, what did he do to you? Seriously? Oh, it just hits his head in the side and falls over.
Like he was standing there in his underwear.
That one level of 13. No, I don't remember that one. I'm trying to remember which game. You say 13, I'm thinking Final Fantasy 13. Oh,
I just noticed. Did you notice that they actually took all the weapons and put it in the storage area?
yeah. And that's the thing. This person's leaving all their stuff behind.
Yeah.
It's like, I paid for this stuff. Anyway, I guess you can come back here and then swap it back out again, but I'm cheap. I guess if you really want that artifact, huh? But here they're trying to blend. This is Star Citizen's version of Hitman. All you need is a DJ table. If you kill somebody, you're fine. You can just dun 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 dun. Ever seen that video on YouTube? He's killing them one at a time as they come in the room, and he just gets on the DJ machine, and all the police are walking around like, something happened in here, and I think someone snuck in, and he's just standing there like playing he's just DJing at the table, like he's the only one in the room, and there's bodies all around him, like something's amiss here. It's really hilarious. And those who witnessed a Gundam and shan't live to tell about it. Oh, it's a comic style game where you wake up in a lifeguard pose? I haven't played that one. Oh, we get to see. Let's see if he's going to eat the artifact.
Eat it.
So what they're just trying to show here is there's multiple ways to get it done. You can try to buy it from someone. You can try to steal it from someone. You can do it, just do it the good way. You can do it the bad way. I'd like to do it in a way where I could like barter with the people who own it for like do a couple missions for them to trade out for it or something.
Now the code must have been duct taped to the wall.
I am glad there's different ways to approach it. Yeah, this thing here, like don't tell anyone the password's literally sitting here on the shelf. I would hope that, obviously this is just a demonstration, but that kind of thing where you just, 1, 2, 3, 4. Thanks, Spaceballs.
Okay.
Yeah, on the giant paper. Like, you ever see the cartoons? You can tell what like the object that's going to be moved because it's different than the background colors. That's kind of like how obvious that was. It's like, wonder which book on the shelf can be moved. Is it the one that's light brown as opposed to the ones that look like they're watercolors in the background? All right, so yeah. Oh, come on, eat it. Yeah, this is, guys, I'm not going to make you watch the 5-minute breakdown of how they made this half circle. Or actually, no, it's a third of a circle. It's a third of a circle. You
Microwave.
use this to find the Emperor, and it's hidden. So oh, yeah,
Go down the top
not too
path.
bad.
See, eat.
Not too bad. I mean, I hope to see more of the actual if they can actually pull this off. But we need none of this. I still think when we get server meshing and all that, we're going to see the biggest change in the game ever. Gosh, it would be weird server meshing, updated flight model, pyro, Nix, and all these missions that they're trying to build, mission types all kind of come out at the same time. And with persistence, you can finally also have halves. I mean, you can buy a house or have a house built onto a planet, and it could persist.
Well, you know, when they were showing the new planet tech, when they were talking about showing how they were building the new buildings, they were showing how they were modeling the ground and stuff like that. I kept wondering about that ship that they, you could possibly pledge for a long time ago. That you could hire. I'm assuming that you'll be able to later on just pay somebody to drop stuff off and make your own camp.
Yeah.
I was looking at some of those buildings, like, yeah, I could easily see myself making a base like that. That works just fine.
Oh, yeah, since we're here in the station, one of the things that's going on right now, even though my stuff's stored in Area 18, I can access it on Bajini Point. I forgot to mention that earlier. For some reason, like the space station is tied to Area 18. I think it's because right now the med center, there's no med center on Area 18, so it actually sends you up here. And so all my this is a lot of this stuff is my subscription stuff, and it's just like it's eating up 60-something% of my actual stores or wares. Come on. Okay, that actually worked for that. Didn't it scroll way up? Great. Okay. Guns. Weapons. Just do weapons. There we go. Done. So yeah. Oh yeah. I picked all these guns out of the 890 jump the other day with the 890 mission. So yeah, I'm good. I got guns for a while. These guns won't reload. These C-54s, SMGs right now, if you buy them, they do not reload. Doesn't matter how much ammo you put, how many clips you have on you, they will never reload. That needs to be patched. These were working fine.
The animation's not there.
It reloads nothing. It literally just sits there and does the animation and just doesn't do diddly do.
That's nice.
So yeah, as you can see, I have a lot of crap. Is that a Nerf gun? Yep, that's a Nerf gun. So yeah.
Yep.
Star Citizen patch 666.999. That's an evil patch anyway you flip it, huh? So yeah. Other than the pole dancing thing going on here, they need to do some cleanup on it. Okay, I'm not gonna show you the right justify. Okay, I was mentioning this earlier. The problem with the right justify. Okay, if I click over here, okay, I see that I can drop item whatever, and then on this side, see what I'm saying? It doesn't. It cuts it off. I can't read I can still interact with it.
Just can't see.
I just can't see what it says. So they need to have it justify left in that particular case. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I think that pretty much summarizes most of what of the event. If you haven't watched some of the videos, I said I recommend mostly the server meshing one because they're going to do a much better explanation of the server meshing and the data persistence than I'm going to. It's not the longest stream. It's actually one of the shorter ones. I think like a half an hour total for both for all of it. And outside of that, the demonstration, which you saw here, you saw the footage, but if you want to hear what they're discussing and why, then give it a watch there too. And then, of course, the stream of consciousness with Tony Zervik, which was the one right before Chris Roberts did his closing. Listening to Tony Z is always a pleasure. There is a lot of spitballing of ideas and things like that, and him really just trying to explain what he sees for the vision of the game and what he's trying to do. And I think those are the big panels you should watch if you only had time to fit in a few. Never miss Tony Z and server meshing, obviously. Definitely watch. No, Chris Roberts just did the opening and closing. He didn't do any of the actual.
Yeah, he didn't do much anything.
Yeah, when Arma's menus do something better, you have to worry. Yeah, that's pretty dead on there. But yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks for stopping in. Thanks for just hanging out. I was just surprised that the show I was thinking originally before Citizencon came out, the show would be much longer. I'm thinking, man, I'm going to deluge of crap. There's going to be too much to talk about. But there honestly wasn't. so there was a lot of repeat information, and there was not very much new information. So it was like a long inside Star Citizen, you know. Um,
At
and
least we didn't get too many interrupts with a certain Disco Landau.
yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, of course, we're going to be having. I'm going to be doing the Wednesday and Friday hangouts this week are going to be here in 3.15. Those are at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So feel free to come on in and hang out. And as new patches come out, you know, and of course you're welcome to jump in and play if you're you know, if you want to team up ahead of time or whatever. Let me know in Discord. And on Thursday, of course, we're continuing my Sucking at Fallout 1 stream, which is not a false advertisement. I do suck at it, but
And looking for more Radex.
I have tons of Radex. That became the opposite of my problem. I have lots of that. But yeah, so hopefully I think we're getting closer to the ending of that game because it's getting towards 28 or 29 episodes. Moving along. But it's a big game, bigger than I would have expected. I can't imagine how big 2 is. So yeah, it was a monthly report. That's a good evaluation of what it was. It was a monthly report with visual aids. So all right, guys. Well, on that note, I think we'll go ahead and wrap everything up. Thanks for coming out. I'm going to get up and stretch my legs and, you know, just kind of enjoy the rest of my night off. And, you know, if you need anything, drop me a line in Discord. And as always, just, you know, I try to be available as much as possible. And maybe we should have a Discord vote of what we should call my 400i when I'm able to name it. I can't name it yet, so we'll have to wait. But it's got to be a Rogo themed name because he likes it. It's gonna be, I started with Rogo Rocket. But if you guys can get creative, give it some time. We got the ability, we got time. But you know, that'll be the thing. What we call, but when we name the ship, what would we call the 400i with a Rogo themed name? Give it some thought. All right, guys. Well, we'll go ahead and catch you the next one. Thanks for coming out and enjoy your night. Later.
Laters.